All right, thank you all for coming. We are GMO Free New Mexico, and we are part of March Against Monsanto Albuquerque. We are doing the Bees and Seeds Festival later on today at 1 p.m. That's going to go on until 9 o'clock. We're going to give away over 900 plants. We are going to give away 1,000 seed packages donated by Seeds of Change. And we're going to have live music by Mondo Vibrations, Burke Soul, Wake Self, Jur Project, Melissa Rios, and Element 37. And we have a couple of other people here that want to say a few words before we get started to march down to the downtown growers market. So thank you everybody for helping out in organizing and marching against Monsanto.
Yeah. All right, I'm Erin and I'm with Food is Free Albuquerque. I met Chris last year and we've been collaborating together ever since. We believe that fresh food is a human right and we want to see it growing all over Albuquerque. And so we go out, we harvest the trees that are growing here in the city that people aren't using, and we get it redistributed. We also have 2 community garden projects that we're working on, one to teach people how to save seeds, one to teach people how to start from the ground up. We're regenerating the soil and planting fruit trees and going to make a completely edible community educational space. And so this is great. We're really excited about the Bees and Seeds Festival. This is going to be, I think, the best. And yeah, I don't know. I'll hand it off. That's all I have to say.
Who's next?
Farmer daughters. Anybody want to talk? You guys want to talk? No? We can edit this all later.
What do you want to say?
All right, thanks guys.
We can talk, we can talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Come up. Hi, we're the Farmer's Daughters. I'm Ashley, she's Chantel, and we partner with other local farms to get fresh food into restaurants and breweries here in New Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'm Britta, and I'm with the ABQ Burnco Seed Library. We're marching today for seed sovereignty. We want to make sure that we have a local and sustainable food system based on seeds. So that's one of the things we're marching for today. We're also marching for a healthy environment, and we're marching for the bees and trying to urge people to not use things that kill bees and harm the environment. And that's part of a sustainable food system, is an organically grown food system. So, sovereignty.
Sovereignty!
Yay!
Do we have anybody else? The bee?
Save the bees!
Hell no, GMO!
Hell no, GMO! Hell no, GMO!
Hell no, GMO!
We have one more.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. I don't go for this patenting of food, this like tweaking a seed genetically. I first heard of this about 20 years ago, an Indian issue where in India Monsanto was trying to do a claim on the neem tree. Just ridiculous things. And their claim on organic farmers, like when their Roundup Ready corn goes into an organic field, and then not only does it mess up the guy's corn, but then they've tried to claim his corn. I mean, these things are just out of bounds, unreasonable seeds, and I don't want to eat food that is patented. Food should never be patented. Seed integrity should never be depleted. Bees are having a hard time with all the pesticides and things that are happening. So I'm for the support of these things, but being for these things is what makes me against Monsanto.
Thank you.
I'll say something. The idea that a corporation and greedy individuals can commoditize the earth and Mother Nature is patently absurd and obscene. And we need to do everything we can to challenge that legally and every other way we can.
Buzz.
Woohoo!
Not gonna mention the Green Party.
Let's go!
All right. Oh. I don't know how to get there. Do we want this sign in front? Do we want to walk with this in the front? Are we carrying this?
Hell no, GMO! Hell no, GMO! Hell no, GMO! Let's go!
Do you need help with your microphone? You're good? Thank you. Have a good night. Day, I should say.
And so with that Shucker bus, she gave us one smash.
Hi there, my name is Tom Shook. I'm a master composter with the Bernalillo County Extension Office. We've got a table here at the Bees and Seeds Festival. We're talking to people about different ways that they can recycle their kitchen waste, paper products, and so forth. Everything from apartment composting to large operations. Had a great time so far. We've talked to over 160 people about composting. Some are brand new to it, some are old hands at it, and we have a method for everybody. We've got bokashi composting, which is a fermentation process. We've got composting with worms, vermicomposting. You can compost large operations in the backyard with just a big pile. We call it dump and run. You just take your products out there and forget about them, throw them on. And you can spend as much time doing it as that time. My partner and I send our trash cans out to the curb maybe once every 3 weeks because all of our kitchen waste, most of our paper products go into the compost as well as food waste and so forth. So we've had a great time doing it. Keeps a lot of organic products out of the landfill where they should be in your garden instead of growing vegetables and flowers, trees. So we're preaching to the converted, we're preaching to new people about the importance of composting. Go to our website at New Mexico or NMcomposters.org.
I want to introduce everybody
There's a lot of resource
special guest
material.
speaker we
There's
have.
many ways to compost, no matter where
Too
you
much
live,
what to say,
what your
but I'm
living
sure she's
situation
totally
is.
blow my mind.
And we think we can solve
Everybody,
the
Dr.
problems as well.
Tim
You can call us, you can send an email if you have questions about composting, and we'll see if we can solve all your problems. But the idea is to send all of those materials to your backyard and your garden and your flowers and your trees rather than to the landfill. Thank you so much. I hope you come down to the festival. It's a great time. Thank you.
Academics are getting out of the ivory tower more these days.
Okay, what's up, Burke? My name is Mark LeClaire. I'm here with my son Trudell, and we're working on a petition at this moment to ask Bernalillo County to enact a temporary moratorium on fracking. The reason why we're doing this is because Sandoval County is poised to become the epicenter of a massive fracking boom. They've already put in over 400 frack wells in the northwest part of the county, and they've got everything in position to put in between 15 and 20,000 frack wells from Chaco all the way down into Rio Rancho. And the county does have the power to pass an ordinance that would protect our health and our safety. They have the power to pass an ordinance that would look out for our groundwater and make sure that we have a sustainable supply for the future generations. But they're not choosing to use that power. They're gonna just give a green light to these gas and oil development companies to come in. They're telling us that we need to let this happen because we need the money. We've already had over 50 years of resource extraction in our state, and we're not seeing the benefits of this money. We're still the poorest state in the country. We still have the worst schools in the country. So I strongly feel that it's time to move in a different direction. If we can get Bernalillo County to pass a moratorium on fracking until we can put in some of these ordinances to protect our health, to make sure that we're looking out for our groundwater supply, we can slow this down and we may not have to face what's in the pipes right now. But if we don't do anything, we're going to be looking at a massive influx of infrastructure, frac pads, compressor stations, pipelines running all through here, from here down to El Paso. And once we put it in, it's going to be a lot harder to fight to get it out. It's going to be impossible to get them out once they're in. So I'm out. Our group is called We Are One River. We're working on this. We formed out of a collective experience that we all had up in Standing Rock, North Dakota. And we're carrying on that work and that prayer down here. So if you're into Facebook or whatnot, you can look up. We have a page. We Are One River, easy to remember. And we'll be organizing events here in the next month to promote awareness about this and bring this issue before the county commissioners here in Bernalillo County, because the county commissioners in Sandoval County have already indicated that they're not planning on listening to us. So thank you for listening to me today.
Ready? Hey, Farmer's Daughters here. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Chantel.
And we have a farm-to-table business where we partner with other local farms to get farm fresh produce into local restaurants and breweries. We also have farm dinners where we bring people to our farm so they can experience the country way of life as well. In addition, in the off-season, we have our value-added products such as our farm-to-bath line, where we make things out of our farm, like honey and goat's milk soap.
We also work to bring the next generation of farmers and really excite them with farming. We go into the schools, we educate about gardening, farming, and we bring them out to our farm. Fall field trips, and we are working to do spring field trips. Our land in Corrales, New Mexico is up for sale this year, and we were working to put it in preservation so that housing developers cannot build on it. Please help us and show your support. Go to farmersdaughters.tv. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Erin, and I'm with Food is Free Albuquerque. We helped put on the Bees and Seeds Festival 2017, which was a real honor because last year we were just vendors and we just met these guys, and this year we got to work really close with them to put on this amazing event for people to come out and really become educated what is happening in their community. And with Food is Free Albuquerque, what we do is we focus on the social empowerment through the growing and sharing of fresh food. And we do that, we started by gleaning. We put out a Craigslist ad. My girlfriend and I wanted to can apples. We put up a Craigslist ad and we got about 11 responses. The first tree that we went and harvested yielded over 100 pounds. And in that moment, we knew that we had stumbled on something that was bigger than ourselves. And so we reached out to the main founder of the Food is Free Project, which started in Austin, Texas, with Front Yard Gardens with signs that just simply said, "Food is free, take what you need." And he gave us permission to use the Food is Free name, and so we took it, we made a Facebook page, and we started harvesting food right here in our city, and we would just give it away. And the first year, with just the two of us and our 5 kids, we harvested over 1,000 pounds of fresh produce that was growing here in Albuquerque. The second year, we did over 2,000 pounds, and last year we exceeded 5,000 pounds. And so we feel that if this food is growing on accident, imagine what will happen if we're doing it on purpose. And so this year we took it a step farther, and we collaborated with Rio Grande Community Farms, and we have a community garden up there to teach people how to grow the food and how to save the seeds, because that's very important as well. We also adopted a warehouse, and that warehouse property, we're transforming the land into a completely edible community educational space where anybody and everybody is welcome to come in and learn and use it as a hub for just gathering, because as we can see here today, when we gather together, that is when power happens. We come together and we're sharing ideas. We meet people that we never thought we would have met, and ideas happen here. And just like with our group, it was just an idea and it grew into something bigger than we even imagined. And so reach out to your friends, reach out to your neighbors. Everybody has an idea, and so just share it. And I think that's it. I think I'm done. Find us on Facebook.
Ultimately talking about humanity, visibility, joy, and connection. Which is interesting because when we think about outcomes and measurables, we kind of create a static concept of it, and really it's a living process. Of course, it's rooted in individuals. Communities are made up of individuals, and when we're doing good engagement work, we are seeing, hearing, reflecting, honoring, celebrating those people. And that's, you know, at the root of all of the work, all of the speakers, and all of the organizations that are here today are doing. When we're successful in that space, it's because we have worked in collaboration and dialogue with the people whose lives we're hoping to affect positively. And that's really challenging and often comes with a lot of criticisms. And I'll just name it, especially as like a white woman. There's like a whole set of things there that I have to be really thoughtful of, especially when we move more into these intersectional movements. And so I think about that a lot, and I'm completely imperfect in knowing how to address that, but I think it's really important that we name these things, and so I try to do that every day. And the wonderful thing that I notice about all of the collaborators in this community, and this is a very collaboratively minded city, is that ultimately we are working for the most reflective, representative, holistic, inclusive, and resonant engagement work we can. So, putting on my ABQ hat, which also means that like I have a halo of hope around my head for the future of this community and of this city. If you're not familiar, my ABQ is an independent volunteer group of young people and professionals who love this city and are committed to generating increased civic engagement in our cohort to achieve collective impact. We came together 3 years ago at the invitation of the City of Albuquerque and the Historic District Improvement Company. We started working on 98 projects that were rooted in policy initiatives and recommendations to our municipal leadership. And we've since evolved to a full-fledged organization under the auspices of the SYNC nonprofit incubator program. And we had our first citywide Young Professionals Summit last year. That was a really powerful moment for us because we all hear all the time how lazy, apathetic, narcissistic, disengaged young people are. And every experience I've ever had in Albuquerque has been a direct counter to that. The My ABQ Summit was the most resounding example of how deeply the young people in this community care about it and how much we want to create meaningful opportunity for the people around us to be seen, heard, honored, and celebrated. We also learned through that experience that we don't have to operate within the existing dialogue and power structures. We want to be supportive, we want to be communicative, but if people perceive us to be disengaged, it's actually because we're tired and a little bit disgusted, to be honest, by the vitriol in a lot of our political and economic dialogues. When people profess, our political leadership professes to have our best interests in mind and then behaves in a way that really demonstrates only self-interest, that's frustrating. And so we are committed to holding space for civil civic dialogue. And so on August 30th, we're hosting our first candidate forum at the Cell Fusion Theater. It'll be registration-based. That's coming up. We have 7 commitments from 7 of the 9 candidates so far. Literally sent the invitations on Thursday, and we're really looking forward to that. So I have 15 seconds left, and I want to ask 3 questions just for you to consider afterwards. I can do it in 10 seconds. 1, if we don't give people the opportunity to create, how can we expect them to do anything other than destroy? 2, when we show up with pitchforks, why do we expect to receive olive branches in return? And 3, what does our city look like if we all live in stewardship to it and to each other? So, thank you guys.
right, that's for our live streaming, and so outside can hear us too. So thank you, Mike Swick, for setting that up. And thank you, Julia, for the great presentation. Up next, we have Loretta Naranjo Lopez with the Historic Neighborhood Alliance, and then after that, we'll have Bridget Llanes with the International District Healthy Communities Coalition. So thank you, Loretta.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Loretta Naranjo Lopez, and I'm the president of Santa Barbara Martineztown Neighborhood Association, and also with Martineztown Work Group, Albuquerque Interfaith, and the Historic Neighborhood Alliance. I guess the first question was what I would love to be a part of a community engagement opportunity that looks like Albuquerque Interfaith, which is a nonprofit social justice organization. And the organization is institutionally based, so you have to belong to a school, a union, churches, or other organizations, and invest in building relationships in order to build trust with people you work with. By first listening as to why people are motivated to be leaders in their community and what moves them, and knowing their story. And I'd just like to let you know that while I was growing up, my dad was part of the union, and they were organizing to just get tools, proper tools to clean the parks, and they were standing and with picket signs, and he said, you know, you didn't want to move against that line because you wanted to be united, and that's what I learned about unity at that time. And then there was a man that lived in our neighborhood that he had a disability, and he told me he brought him into our home, my dad told me, because he didn't want people to beat him up. And so I learned about the community, that it wasn't just what was happening in my home, but what was happening outside of my home. And I just wanted to start off with that story, because when we do what the most desirable outcome is to know why people care about their community. So we do one-on-ones. We sit down for 30 minutes, and it's a discipline, a commitment to listen to somebody's story and know what's in their heart. And it's not chit-chat, it's business, it's knowing who they are. And then from there, we move to house meetings, and we come together and we tell our stories with each other in a group, and we learn about the issues and concerns of each one of us. And from there, we decide what we want to move forward with, and then we have an accountability session where we come together and we invite our representatives, tell our stories, and then ask them if they're willing to deal with our resolution with a yes or no. That's all we want, is a yes or no. And if they say yes, then we move forward with them. So that's the way we engage in the community, and that's the way we operate. And I think it's the best approach for us to move forward, because that's where we learn to build trust. If we don't have the trust, we don't continue to move on and grow from there. And I just wanted to share that part of how I do community engagement, even with different organizations that aren't trained the way Albuquerque Interfaith is trained. I work with the Historic Neighborhood Alliance, and I've had a lot of years of relationship with those people, and we have been working hard on the Albuquerque and Bernalillo Comprehensive Plan and the Integrated Development Ordinance. And one of the things that, as a professional planner, that I can say is that there hasn't been any listening from the city of Albuquerque. And so the plan is just a plan from one group of people. And what we're working hard on right now is to make sure that that plan is a real community plan and that the people are listened to. Thank you. Thank you.
And Mike's thing is still on. Rubber bands. Okay. Thank you, Loretta. Next up, we have Bridget Llanes with the International District Healthy Communities Coalition, and then Javier Benavides with SWAP.
Ooh, okay, so I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, so hopefully people can hear me. So my name is Bridget Ganis, and I'm from an organization called the International District Healthy Communities Coalition, and I'm also from Sunflowers for Change. So we have a table that's outside. If you want to come check us out, we're handing out free seeds to folks to plant, hopefully helping us plant 1 million sunflowers to support our immigrant and refugee communities. So in the neighborhood that I live in, it's beautiful, it's diverse. I live in the International District. I'm super proud to be living there. There's like over 60 languages spoken and people from all over the world there. In terms of the diversity in New Mexico, our neighborhood has the most diversity, and it's awesome. It means that for me, community engagement is talking to people and learning how to communicate in different ways. We do a lot of communicating through actually just planting with people and then listening a lot. I think listening is super important in creating spaces to listen to others. So we have community visioning sessions in the neighborhood. People get together, they're a little bit different than like a planning visioning meeting. We get together, we create, we eat, we break bread together, and then we just listen to each other and think about what do we want to see in the future, 20 years from now, 40 years from now, 60 years from now. And then how can we work together right now to make those visions a reality for our children and our children's children. So at the end of each of these community vision sessions, we come up with some really tangible things to do right after the meeting that we can do right now to be working towards our future. So some of those tangible things could be talking to your neighbors, having a conversation with them, throwing a neighborhood barbecue. Some other things are planting trees, planting sunflowers, planting pollinators in the neighborhood, starting to think about how can we create more sustainable food sheds so we can plant all kinds of edible trees in our neighborhood because we have such a high rate of hunger, especially childhood hunger. So in the schools, we're trying to plant as many edible fruits and vegetables as we can. And as we do this, we're doing it together. Like we work with a bunch of organizations. We're lucky we actually get to work with SWAP in some of the schools too. And it's through working together and networking, which happens a lot in our IDHCC meetings. The IDHCC is an organization that's been around for 10 years, so anyone is welcome to come and join these meetings. Our next meeting is this Thursday. It's from 9 to 11 at La Mesa Elementary School. If you would like to come to network with educators, with people in religious organizations, with just different kinds of folk in the neighborhood, it's a great place to come to just introduce yourselves, to make friends with other people, and then to learn about what's happening. So I'm excited to thank you for inviting me here. There's a lot of good things that are happening now, and I think turning our attention a little bit away from the BS that's happening in our national government and really strengthening the ties that we have with community right now, that's the way that we can move forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Bridget. So we have two more speakers. We'll have Javier Benavides up with the Southwest Organizing Project, and Rob Mahoney with the Southwest Alliance of Neighborhood Associations will finish up, and then I'll have a few words to say about our next steps. So welcome, Javier.
What's up, everybody? Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, David, for putting this event together. It's great to see you all here. My name is Javier from the Southwest Organizing Project, which has been around in New Mexico for 37 years now. Holding down the left, fighting the tough fights with courage, with boldness. We're definitely what we consider the modern day Billy the Kid's trying to take it on in New Mexico and take on all the oppressive forces that are holding our folks down. So I don't have to list it all off for you. You guys know the stats. 50th in child well-being, top unemployment in the country, worst income inequality. Well, we don't see this as just like a recent affair. This is the history of New Mexico. The exploitation of our labor, the exploitation of our resources. And unfortunately, we think that the poverty that we're experiencing right now in our state is a man-made problem. I mean, it's a result of certain folks getting very wealthy and doing very well, while the majority of our state struggles. And we're not okay with that. And that's exactly what we want to take on. So the key question we always ask at SWAP is who pays and who benefits, whether it's Intel Corporation up on the hill in Rio Rancho getting $25 million in corporate tax cuts while they're cutting jobs and taking money out of education, or the Santa Lina development, which is a sprawl development that's making a couple of landowners very wealthy, but cannibalizing the existing neighborhoods like this neighborhood, that could use that kind of investment. We focus a lot on liberation because in the news cycle, on TV, in the newspapers, you hear a lot about things like crime. We want to push back on this narrative that says Albuquerque and New Mexico is a crime-ridden place, where people are impoverished and lazy and morally flawed. We actually, we see programs like SNAP, food benefits, as vital because they're barely holding it together here in our state and addressing some of this deep poverty. We don't think that criminalizing our young people and criminalizing people of color is and adding more police officers and more penalization as the answer. We actually think there's a whole deep history of trauma here in our state that deserves treatment and deserves investment and mental health services, and that's how we're going to begin to pull our people out of this struggle. We take these fights on with a lot of courage because there's some strong forces that exist here in our state that have led to this state of affairs. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Kirtland Air Force Base and the military-industrial complex. We're dealing, as Bridget was talking about, with the biggest jet fuel spill in the country, in the history of the country, bigger than the Exxon Valdez spill. And we're taking on the Air Force Base and holding them accountable for not cleaning that up. Even though, many folks don't want to scare them away because of the jobs they provide. Well, we think we deserve better than that. The prison industrial complex. Who's making money off of our people being criminalized over minor things like marijuana possession or minor crimes? We want to talk about who's making a lot of money off of that situation. And then when we talk about economic development or economic justice, it's not just about recruiting corporations into New Mexico. We actually think we should invest in our people. We should invest in higher wages. We should invest in better working conditions, paid sick leave. Half of our workers can't even take a day off if they have a baby or catch the flu or if their child is suffering. This is the status quo that's being held in place by forces that we want to confront. Things like the Association of Commerce and Industry or the National Association of Industrial and Office Properties. And then, when Donald Trump came to our town, we gave him hell. We mobilized 10,000 people to come out and occupy the space around the convention center, and we went inside and we disrupted him and called him out for the hate and the bigotry that he was bringing through our city. So we're hopeful. We think New Mexico's best days are ahead. We think our people are survivors. We love New Mexico. We love the emphasis on family and culture and the promise we have around things like renewable energy. So we just think our best days are ahead, and we want to be a part of getting New Mexico to that space. And we invite you all to be a part of that too. Visit swop.net, swop.net, and come join the fight for justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier. So we have one final speaker, and then we're going to wrap up. I'd like to welcome Rod Mahoney from the Southwest Alliance of Neighborhood Associations.
Thank you, everyone. Actually, I'm from the South Valley Coalition of Neighborhood Associations. The Southwest area is actually on West Central. So hope is a great thing. We all hope in the city of Albuquerque and Bernalillo County because we live here and we are invested in those activities. I want to talk about a couple things which actually I think provide hope for certainly folks in the South Valley and Bernalillo County and also through the city. I want to give a plug to an organization that actually provides hope and provides a partnership between the community and government. And it's the New Mexico Main Street activity, which is actually a very, very good activity. There is a new South Valley Main Street that's actually directly across the river on Bridge Boulevard. This Main Street group, and there's been a number of groups within the city already that are focused on a community partnership with both the state government and the county government to facilitate economic development in blighted areas, to make significant improvements for that area, and we look forward to the future there. Another thing that I want to talk about, which is extremely important for the entire area, is actually an environmental issue that the folks in the South Valley and also in the North Valley of Albuquerque have been battling for a number of years. That is actually the air quality issue that's wrapped around our entire metropolitan area. This particular topic has been very contentious and also been very frustrating over the years because of the fact that there has not been, there seem to be any community engagement that actually makes a difference from the decisions that are being made. Through a process that actually was facilitated by the San Jose area, challenging some of the rulings that actually came place through the Air Quality Board, which is controlled by the City of Albuquerque. The City of Albuquerque and Bernalillo County are unified with one control entity that's actually the City of Albuquerque Air Quality Board. That board was actually challenged with an EPA citing for more communication that engaged the community. Recently, that board has actually been reaching out to the community and having conversations with the community relative to these air quality issues that are in local areas. The South Valley in particular has more municipal zone areas in the entire county, has more air quality permits that are actually approved in the South Valley and also Bernalillo County. And I get, on a weekly basis, new permits that are actually flowing out of the air quality permit process. One of those that actually is very, very prevalent in the minds of folks in the South Valley is the Albuquerque Metals Recycling Plant. It's located on South 2nd, immediately north of Rio Bravo. There have been repeated fires there in history. If you see a plume coming from the South Valley, more than likely it comes from that location. There has been facilitated through this process a number of communications that have occurred with the owner of that facility, with the community, and with the coalition and others to try to facilitate some improvement as possible. The key, I think, moving forward is to continue those conversations, to hopefully be able to actually have some influence on some of these decisions, because ultimately they impact all of us, and especially the folks that are actually impacted in these legacy issues along the railroad transportation corridor, which has been in existence since the 1880s in our community. So that's one thing that I think is very important. It's a recently new phenomenon from the communication with that particular group. And folks have talked about earlier about the trust associated with communicating. Time will tell in that regard, but certainly keeping that communication linkage open is extremely important. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rod, and thank you to all our amazing speakers. So I'm just going to wrap up real quickly. I just want to give a quick thanks to our team, because this was not just me. David helped out, Kristen helped out, Nancy Southern. We've had a number of people involved: Michael Voss, Tara Reed, Don McIver, Michael Barndollar, just to name a few, and other people who have helped make this happen. And thanks again to the Bees and Seeds for hosting this year.